The coastal storm is still out there. We're going to update you on what's going on. Joe Rayo is going to do Rayo's radars. Isn't that right,
okay.
Mr. Rayo? Thank you.
Sure. All right.
He's going to do Rayo's radars, and then we're going to also look down the road to see what's coming up for the rest of the week. All of that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast if you shop on Amazon. Use our referral link that is pinned to the top of the chat. Actually, it's not on the top of the chat board tonight. It's on the description of this podcast on YouTube. You can find it just about anywhere on all the shows. Just use that link to get you to Amazon. Buy whatever it is you're going to buy. Amazon throws us a little coin for sending you there, and it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast commercial free, and it doesn't cost 1 extra cent out of your own pocket. So we appreciate very much those of you who have done your shopping on via our referral link on Amazon. Tempest by Weatherflow. If you need a weather station and Christmas is coming, you want to give it as a gift, this is the perfect gift. Easy to install, runs off your mobile device, and I think there's only 2 parts, basically. Again, easy to put together. The link for this is pinned to the top of the chat board and on the description to this podcast. It's the revolutionary Tempest weather system. You'll be part of the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. And Joe Rayo knows what the coupon code is. Okay, apparently. All right, hang on, folks. Just a second. Hang on. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry, folks. I've been taking some internet hits in the last hour. Anyway, last we mentioned that there's a coupon code for this. Isn't that right, Joe Rayo?
Well, I almost wish that we had Rich Rothmansky on live because he knows what the coupon code is. He's already posted it on the chat board just in case we didn't get back here. Autumn 2025, and if you do use that coupon code, you will get 10% off anything and everything that you purchase through Tempest.
Okay, so we've gone through the afternoon. We're into the evening. This is playing out, pretty much according to what we've been talking about since yesterday. There was some heavier rain over Long Island. The wind has been, nothing terrible. And there's still some rain going on. Actually, the rain over Long Island, there was a really solid band of rain that moved through earlier this afternoon, Mr. Rayo. Some places got 1.5 inches. I think Tom Contino measured 1.5 inches where he is. And the radars certainly would bear that out. And there's still some more rain there. But again, this really almost looks like a giant warm front that's trying to push northward when you look at it.
Well, I see that they're still on the various evening reports on television, broadcast TV, still referring to this as the nor'easter. However, I should point out that we don't have a system that is singular. We have actually a pair of weather systems. One still down near the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and the second system evolving just off of the Delmarva coastline. So we don't have one, we have 2, and they are going to combine to bring a rather rainy night to our area. Now I see, Joe, that you've got on your screen the surface map, and you could see where both systems are. One is not, the first one, the more southerly one, is not, number one, it's not actually off the Outer Banks, so to speak. It would have to be a little ways north and east for it to be specifically off the Outer Banks. Let's say off the North Carolina coast. And then the second system is located due east by about, I would say, 150 miles of the Delmarva Peninsula. So we have these 2 systems. They're interacting with large high pressure over eastern Canada, and that is producing a tight pressure gradient and some gusty winds along the coast, and also bringing areas of rain, which mostly has been confined to areas along the coastline. And as we said yesterday, especially if you move inland, You're going to be moving out of that or away from the main area of rain. And you can see on the broad view that Joe has just put up that that is absolutely the case. That's why.
Oh, here we go again. Sorry, Joe. You still there?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. Yeah, just I'm getting some, you know, my internet has just kind of been being a little jumpy right now. I'm not sure why. Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. Okay. All right. So some of you have received, as Joe mentioned, an inch and a half of rain. I, for example, 50 miles northwest of Midtown Manhattan, on the other hand, have had a grand total of, at last look, I had a grand total of about 2 or 3 hundredths of an inch of rainfall. But the rain is finally moving in here in Putnam Valley, Putnam County, and I'm sure that before the night is over, we'll have at least a half, maybe even an inch of rain, and a bit more rain to add on to that for tomorrow.
If this is, I mean, if you want to use the definition of this being a nor'easter, it's pretty much, at least from the standpoint of wind and rain, it's been in our neck of the woods anyway. Uh, Fairly low grade nor'easter. Brandon Doherty said where he is down in Delaware that there was a lot of tidal flooding at the high tides this evening off the Delaware coast. And I did see some videos from southernmost New Jersey down around Cape May County where the tidal flooding was significant. I haven't heard other reports. Leon of Lindenhurst said that at least down where he was in Lindenhurst on the South Shore of Long Island, it was minor at best, but it was forecast to be minor for this high tide there, and forecast to be moderate to major for the next two high tides, which one comes overnight and then after midnight, another one uh, tomorrow after lunchtime. So if you're in one of those areas where the tidal flooding has not really been excessive or non-existent, uh, you're going to have the next two high tides to deal with. And Joe Rayos got the radars now, so he's going to tell us what's going on.
Okay, well, you can see the areas of green are translating into light to moderate rainfall. And as I just noted, if you take a look now, you can see where the cursor is. I'm right up here. It's interesting, Joe, that one area, that narrow wedge of nothing that extends out in a northwest direction from the Upton radar, I'm located like right up here, right in the midst of that zone of nothingness. So I don't normally get a chance to see exactly what's over me at any given moment because of that area that is blocking the radar here. But in any case, you could see that where I am, I've had basically light to moderate to light to nothing in terms of precipitation. You have to go to the south and to the east, and while lower Westchester and across much of Connecticut and down especially across Long Island into New York City has been seeing at least some light to moderate rainfall. Areas to the north and west have gotten very little, maybe the equivalent of just steady light drizzle or mist up in, let's say, around the Poughkeepsie area, and even further north and west. Here's Port Jervis. They've gotten a little bit, but not all that much. So again, this has been a coastal system, but again, over in the lower Hudson Valley in a zone of measurable precipitation. But right now, still, the main areas that have been getting precip been right along the Jersey coast, Long Island, and on up into Connecticut. Now, if we go up, let's say, to Albany, you can see that there they've had virtually nothing. And you can see, too, that areas to the east of the Hudson River is where the precipitation has been quite significant. Again, most of Connecticut has been getting into the rain and even some flashes of yellow there. Also into areas just to the east of the Berkshires in central and eastern Massachusetts, most of Rhode Island. But again, to the west, especially so from northwestern New Jersey and into Pennsylvania, nothing, nothing, zilch. We go further south and west. Let's go down to D.C. They've had a little bit of precipitation, but not all that much to write home about. The Delmarva is fairly clear right now, at least according to the radar from Washington and Sterling, Virginia. Uh, Philadelphia, which would show us or give us an idea of what's going on down towards South Jersey. And you can see that much of the state of Jersey does have some precipitation, but again, as you head in a westerly direction into southwestern New Jersey, and here's Delaware virtually getting nothing in terms of any significant precipitation. Delaware weather guy Brandon Doherty just commented that he's had precipitation that is measured in only a hundredth or so of an inch, but other areas have had a little bit more. But right now, it looks like most of the precipitation has shifted off to the north and east. I should also point out what you're seeing up here is basically being generated by storm number 2. That's the storm that's, again, about 150 miles to the east of the Delmarva area. Uh, as was mentioned in his rather lengthy weather discussion on his weather site, Weather Risk, David Tolerus pointed out that had we had one singular system, if we were dealing with just one storm, we probably would have seen a more widespread and heavier concentration of precipitation all the way from the Carolinas north and east to Delaware and Maryland and up into New Jersey. But because of the fact that we have a split, because we have one storm that's down across the North Carolina coastline and a second storm system that's located up off of Delmarva, we have this void, if you will, where there's nothing going on. Here is Charlotte North. That's not how you spell Charlotte.
What's wrong with Charlotte? What was you there, Joe? Okay, another internet hit. I'm on here.
It's not Charlotte. That's Charlotte. Wilmington. This is the Wilmington radar. Charlotte is a completely different animal. But you can see from the Wilmington radar, you could see that the radar is showing the counterclockwise circulation of the first storm, which would be located down over here, just offshore, and sweeping areas of moderate to even heavy rainfall across southern sections of North Carolina and down into adjacent South Carolina. So what's going to happen basically is this: we need to get storm number 1 and storm number 2 further north and east off of Delmarva, off and away to the east, away from the Atlantic coastline. But that is not going to happen until late tomorrow night or first thing on Tuesday morning. So until that happens, everybody from the Carolinas north and east up to southern New England will be in line for receiving precipitation of varying degrees, but it won't be until later on Tuesday when we're finally rid of both systems that we'll begin to see the skies clear, and then we'll have basically fair weather right on through the middle and latter part of next week and right on into next weekend as it would appear right now. Joe?
All right, and looking at some of the obs at the moment, as of 7:50 Eastern Time, roughly, around the Cape, Nantucket, Hyannis. We're looking at Hyannis, Martha's Vineyard. I'm sorry, 43-mile-an-hour gusts there. I don't know how to pronounce it. Siasconset, and that's out at Nantucket, and the wind gusting there at 48. Nantucket Memorial Airport gusting to 35. Most of the South Shore winds are running from the northeast and running basically gusting 20 to 30. There's a 35-mile-an-hour wind gust at Montauk, but that's the highest. And the inland winds, by the way, when we look at some of these gusts, they are very low. You really need to be down on the coast to see any wind of consequence. On the Jersey Shore, we're gusting 30 to 50 at the moment. Barnegat, I don't know if that's Barnegat Light. No, North Beach Haven at 51. And we also have a wind gust at Barnegat Inlet, where the wind is gusting to 47 miles an hour. A little further north at Seagirt, it is at 37, and and this is Monmouth Beach, also gusting to 37. Winds are turning more, east northeast as you go further south, and this is why the tidal flooding is an issue, more of an issue in southern New Jersey and points south on this first high tide. Also, notice, by the way, a lot of the inland temperatures have dropped to the low and middle 50s, so it's actually quite raw in areas where it is both raining and not raining. We still have various high wind warnings up for eastern Long Island and out at Nantucket and Hyannis. Also, high wind warnings along the immediate New Jersey, up and down the immediate Jersey coast. And you see it there now that the temperatures have come off. And the green, the darker green, indicates flash flood warnings. Now, there are flash flood warnings. I'm sorry, coastal flood warnings. There are coastal flood warnings up and down through New Jersey. And if we go a little further south, down into Chesapeake Bay, we're seeing areas of coastal flood warnings and coastal flood advisories that are in effect, along with the various gale warnings. And further north, we have storm warnings up. And just a quick check of the winds here down in southeastern Virginia. 25 to 35 at some of the higher gusts, but nothing really crazy. There's a 42-mile-an-hour wind gust in Duck, North Carolina. I actually have been to Duck, North Carolina, and Oregon Inlet gusting to 40. Looks like Cape Hatteras is only gusting to 18 right now. So the winds are tamer as we move our way down the coastline. Let's take you around
That
the
may be
country.
also that may be also the equivalent of the eye of a hurricane because Cape Hatteras is relatively close south, north, and east of the center of the first of the two systems. So that's probably why they're not seeing that tremendous an amount of wind. And of course, the areas that have been getting 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts have been trapped between the second storm off of Delmarva and that big high pressure system to the north, which has been squeezing the isobars and causing more of a significant pressure gradient.
Elsewhere, we're looking at, as far as watches and warnings are concerned, we still have some flash flood watches up in southern Arizona and extreme southwest New Mexico, a few counties in southwest Colorado. The flash flood warnings that were up in Utah are down. And I was reading also, by the way, that Salt Lake City has had about 3.5 inches of rain and so far this month, and they're a quarter of an inch away from having the wettest October on record, which is just under 4 inches, believe it or not.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Now, deep trough in the west means cold air. Winter storm warnings up for the Sierra Nevadas. Winter storm warnings up for northwest Montana. Winter weather advisories surrounding that. Winter weather advisories posted for the Cascades. And you can see all the energy coming into the west. Tropical moisture from what's from the remnants of Priscilla have been moving through the southwest and heading northeast. And then you see the mess in the east here. You can actually see the circulation while the visible's still up off the North Carolina coast being the main low. It's a little harder to see the low that's developing east of Virginia on that occluded front and at the point, the triple point, where the occluded front, the warm front, and the cold front meet. But that low is not particularly strong, and it's probably not going to strengthen very much. But the gradient is going to remain somewhat tight during the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Again, for wind issues, it's going to be basically on the immediate coast. Wind is not going to be any real issue in inland areas. And actually, if you look at the loop before it goes to the infrared, if you didn't have to really go too far north and west to see breaks of sunshine across central and western Pennsylvania, upstate New York, western New York, and north and central New York. So this is really primarily a coastal phenomena. And again, the wide radar showing the action in the east, showers in the Great Lakes, the western Great Lakes, and into the northern plains. Also, that moisture in the southwest, spreading some rain northeastward into Oklahoma and Kansas. Some heavier precip down in southern Arizona. And we've got what's the action in the Pacific Northwest with that snow, with those winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories up in parts of the Northwest. Storm Prediction Center, by the way, has a narrow area of general thunderstorm risk along the coastal plain from North Carolina to southern New England. And some of that convectiveness showed up this afternoon when that first band of rain came around. Back again with this internet hit. I'm sorry, folks. I don't know if you're getting but I'm going to try to. This is a tough night tonight, I guess. Just hang on. Okay, we should be back.
We've been looking at.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Just took another internet hit. Go ahead, Joe.
I suspect that people were thinking that at 3 o'clock this afternoon we'd be looking at lots of wind and rain, but instead here, at least in Putnam County, the sun was dimly visible for a time during this afternoon. Hey, and guess what? This is what, 5 in a row? 5 shows in a row now. We have hit 100 likes, and thank you very much for that.
And yes, thank you for hitting the like button. And if you haven't done so already and you like the show, hit the like button. Additional rainfall as starting from 8 o'clock tonight. Another half to 3/4. Sharp cutoffs here. It's hard to say if it's really going to get that far west. But WPC does still have an 1.5-inch band right over coastal New Jersey and touching Long Island, and a little heavier in terms of the rain in southeastern New England, which makes sense based on the radar. And then over the next 7 days, you're looking at half to 3/4 in parts of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley to the middle Mississippi Valley, also in the northern lakes and back to parts of the northern plains, and getting busy out in the west with ample precip of several inches or more in the Sierra Nevadas and parts of the Pacific Northwest. So we're pretty much just, on schedule here with everything that's happening. No major changes in how this plays out. The secondary low, you see it there off the Delaware coast. That is going to just kind of rotate back westward as the low off the North Carolina coast moves its way eastward. And then eventually, as the upper low spins around, we get these waves of rain coming in off the ocean overnight. And then eventually, as we go through Monday, everything begins to slide to the southeast, and it should be mostly gone by Tuesday morning. And then we'll spend the day Tuesday seeing improving weather conditions. Big high builds in for Wednesday and Thursday, and some pretty cool air is going to be coming down from eastern Canada for the second half of the week, especially Wednesday night into Thursday before the high settles along the coast. And then it looks like another weak front that approaches over the weekend. I don't know whether that holds together or not. Another cold front next Sunday with some showers and a shot of chilly air behind that. That looks somewhat significant. And then once that goes out, we'll start another warm-up, and then we see a series of lows that head out to our west with some chances for rain as we head toward the latter part of the month. But nothing major, thankfully, is in the cards. Looks like we're going into some sort of a normal, let's call it mid-autumn pattern going forward.
And that front that Wednesday, if you wake up early enough on Wednesday morning, it may actually look rather cloudy and rather ominous. However, once we get through midday and the front passes through, a sharp change to dry and cooler weather with an increasingly gusty airflow. So looks like a 50-50 day on Wednesday with clouds in the morning, bright sunshine in the afternoon. The winds will start picking up again, but this time.
Oh, this is so annoying. I'm sorry, folks. I know this internet we've been fine all weekend, so tonight I've been getting these internet hits. It's not it's nothing I can do about it. This is just this way things are working tonight.
Perhaps, Joe, we talked about this afternoon. We said that we might make this another half-hour show, a short show.
Yeah.
Now, before we came on, we were discussing tomorrow, and I thought that perhaps since we're still going to be in potential tidal flooding and a bit of wind, and maybe as a post mortem, we would do a show tomorrow and then we would take off on Tuesday. So for many of you, a holiday tomorrow, Columbus Day, but for us, maybe we'll do it one more time tomorrow evening, and then we'll take off for a much deserved day off on Tuesday.
Tom Contino wants me to grade my forecast performance in this, and I would say a C plus to a B minus overall. I'm being maybe a little hard on myself. I don't know. I go back
I
to
would
Mark.
say this, I would say the same thing for me. I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm not. I'm not too. I was not too happy, especially a couple 3 days ago, where the models were going back and forth. Giveth and taketh away. But yeah, I would say it's all things considered that I think we did a decent job. I did post last night right after midnight saying that we'd probably see a good hunk of today, at least here in the lower Hudson Valley, basically dry weather, and it would not be until tonight, the overnight hours tonight, that we would see any kind of significant precipitation or wind, and it looks like that's pretty much going to be the case.
yeah. I earlier this week when I said that I should have it would have been a really difficult thing for me to do to move through the middle part of the week with my initial idea of everything getting suppressed to the south. I don't know that I could have with my stomach I could have been able to hold on to that prediction, and obviously I didn't. And yeah, the model frustration with this was enormous. On the other hand, at least we were able to catch on to the fact that this was not going to go into be anything of consequence before everybody else started to sort of join the bandwagon on the idea that this was not going to be anything of real consequence. But let me make clear that the tidal flooding was going to be an issue regardless. So that part of it still remains an issue, and for some places it's a rather big issue. I was seeing that some of the forecast tide heights for southern New Jersey, like for Cape May County, were actually higher than we were during Hurricane Sandy, believe it or not. So there's three high tides there that they're concerned about. The first one's passed, but there's still two more, and the highest tide is not till tomorrow. So the, the rest of the folks on the Jersey Shore overnight, and then also on the South Shore of Long Island, got two more tides to get through. So those are still going to be issues going into tomorrow.
The
And
folks over at Upton, the National Weather Service for New York City, did something that they don't often do. They put up a coastal flood warning for the Hudson River.
right.
I've not seen that too often, but there is a coastal flood warning for folks who live along the Hudson for the next day or so because of, again, the situation regarding the potential for higher than normal tides.
All right, I think we can wrap it up tonight. It's been a long weekend. We did a lot of shows and got a lot of new viewers, which was great. Thanks for those of you who subscribed to my YouTube channel. I think we picked up another 100 subscribers, which is really good. And of course, thank you for those of you on the chat board are here every day, and it's wonderful. And we love that you're here. And I know you'll be back. We're going to be back tomorrow. We are going to do a show tomorrow. But we'll probably take Tuesday off. So Bobby Livingsworth, I don't know if that means you will be back Tuesday, but we are gonna be here tomorrow night at 7:35, and just to cover whatever's going on with respect to the tidal flooding. So on that note, everybody have a great weekend. The rest of your weekend. You actually got tomorrow because it's a holiday weekend this weekend. And we'll see you all tomorrow night at 7:30. I apologize for the internet issues. It happens. But we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good night, folks.